Hello, guys. Just a keeping safe in this global epidemic. Being aware, a lot of young developers make this expensive and huge mistakes when starting out as learners, becoming software developers. I've decided to compile the 7 tips on the best way to learn, software development. The first of them is that be motivated. At some point in your journey as a learner, you would run out of energy. You may feel like giving up. You may feel what's the essence of all this. You may have felt that you're going through a lot. Motivators or drivers like this, can always, cheer you up and keep you, ongoing. And a good example is to know why you're learning this software development of a thing while you're learning it. I remember in those days, when I was starting out, I saw an article on Medium or so, uh, stating that it was a list of the best skills a person can have, the most profitable and the creative skills a person can have in the modern time. And the first on the list, happened to be, software development. I was excited and I felt that, oh, this is exactly what I wanted to learn. And so every time I remember that that's the most lucrative job and I'm learning. So I get cheered up and I want to do more. I want to give in more into learning it and then getting it to the finish line. Also, being aware of the salary of an average developer in the US, and the US developers are the most paid, most well-paid developers around the world. An average developer over there makes about 120,000, 120 grand per month, and that in Nigeria, in naira, that's 3.6 million naira. That's a huge amount of money, and globally, basically in developed countries, Canada, and so on, an average developer over there makes 5 to K per month, $52,000 per month, and that's literally 1.6 million, naira. And locally in Nigeria, an average developer makes about $10,000 per month, and that's still something. That's something, about 300K per month, in naira. And you may not want to stay there. You may want to advance to become a senior developer, someone who makes 600, 700, thousand naira per month. So remember, all this should motivate you every time you run out of energy or you run out of motivation. The second is that you draw a realistic roadmap. You should have a clear, map of or picture of this is where you're going and this is how much time it will take. Just like a map, you're traveling. At each landmark or landmark, okay, I'm halfway done. I'm halfway to the destination. Okay, you may have to reach out to some seasoned developers to help you out while you're trying to come up with this realistic map to tell you how much time does it require to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and so on. With that, okay, in 6 months' time, you should be a developer. In 7 months' time, I should be a developer. So you need a roadmap like this. Also, that the thought of them is that you strictly follow your learning path and avoid distractions. A lot of beginners they make this huge mistake of being distracted time and again. Okay. If person an average beginner would be following a course or a learning path, and after a while maybe he saw a video online and he felt the next moment is to digest that, to digress into that as well. That wouldn't help. You may, if you're doing this, you may spend a whole lot of time, a good number of months learning programming, but you're not learning anything in the hand. Okay, so you have to stick to one maybe tutorial. I remember when I was starting out, I was stuck with Code Steel in a web design course on Udemy. It's an Udemy course, and throughout I wasn't digressing to any other course, maybe free code camps. I wasn't looking away. I stuck to it till I got to the hand of. Later on, you can always do research, to learn more online and all that. But you have to stick to one path, learning path in the beginning, and with that, you really realize you're really learning much, and you're focused. The fourth of them is never rush into frameworks or library. Sorry, the fourth of them is spend most of your time understanding the core of each language. The foundational knowledge is the most important in learning anything. So do not get easily, freaked out by all those frameworks or libraries, Bootstrap, Tailwind, Angular, React, and so on. You spend your time learning the core of each language, HTML, CSS. Do not feel, it's easier to use Bootstrap, for your CSS. It's easier to use Tailwind. Do not get distracted by all this. You try to spend much time, ample time on the core of the language. The same thing goes with JavaScript. You need your time to learn it, to learn the core of JavaScript, array traversal, high order function, the scope, DOM manipulation, and so on and so forth. You need to understand all this before you advance to frameworks. So also the next point is an emphasis on the previous point, and that is never rush into frameworks or libraries, otherwise you regret it later on. If you do not spend your time, take your time to learn the core of the language, and you rather rush into libraries because you feel it can help you to get the task, more easily done, okay? You'd be forced to come back to the core of the language. You have to start all over again. Literally, that's how it is. So you should know what you should learn first, and that is the core of the language. You should forget about all this frameworks, libraries in the beginning. You don't need jQuery, to select your element and all that. I don't even think you need jQuery at all in this age and time. So you spend most of your time learning the core of the language, and do not make a fuss over the frameworks. Also, that's the sixth of those tips is build a project with every language before carrying on to the next one. You have to be an active learner. You do not have to be a passive learner. Someone who learns and who understands, and who notes things down. He has so many notes. He puts a lot of things. He tries to absorb a lot from every tutorial, but he's not putting that into action. You have to build something. If you learn HTML, try to come up with a site of your own, even if it's not the most amazing and most attractive web page in the world. You just have to do something and that gives you confidence that you've learned HTML because you're able to build something with it. So that's it. And the final, which is the seventh of them, is that you don't have to be a master of syntax or instructional, but rather understand the code. It's a good thing to know the syntax, not having to go back to the references, MDN, Mozilla Developer, Network, trying to figure out what the syntax looks like, how an array and, function, high order function, and all that. Yeah, it's a good thing, but in the beginning you didn't need that. You don't only need to know a bit of the syntax, but you rather understand the code. You should know what this line of code it is doing here, which character, what is the essence of it. If it's missing, what would be lagging in the functionality, the code of block is performing. So you need to understand the code, and not necessarily memorizing every bit of syntax out there while starting. You can always come back to that and perfect your awareness of the syntax, how they look like, and all that. So that's it, guys. I hope this helps, and